Hey folks, it's break time, and that means it's another edition of the Anime Break Room with your host Will Medina, and usually my co-host Dabir Weeks. But for the next 2 weeks, Dabir won't be here. He'll be celebrating his 30th birthday in the beautiful islands of Hawaii. So if Dabir, you're listening, my brother, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Anime Break Room, and hope you enjoy your vacation as well. You definitely deserve it, bro. Like I said, I tell him all the time he's a big part of why we had this podcast running, and so I definitely appreciate everything you've done to Beer. And like I said, you definitely enjoy this vacation. You deserve it. So once you get back, me and you, my brother, will get this train rolling once again. But in the meantime, for the next 2 weeks, I'll have some very special guests, especially for me. So today's episode, we have, I should say, a person that I've known for my entire life, per se. But before I introduce this person, we're going to have a recap of last week's episode. Basically, me and Dabir got into our top 3 favorite anime characters of all time. Basically, people that we call the GOATs of all GOATs. Dabir, I believe, if I could remember correctly, it was, for his top 3 was Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs. The second one was the MC of Blue Lock. I don't remember his name. I have not watched that anime just yet. Something that I am going to watch eventually in the near future, but I can't remember his name. But the way the beard described him, it was perfect. Like I loved how that character sounded. So I'm definitely intrigued on watching more of that and that character. And his other character was Alex Louis Armstrong, which is a very unique character, comic relief, and just a different character. It was a very unique trio Dabir had for sure. But my trio, probably some of the most popular characters. My number 3 was Itachi Uchiha. I just love his demeanor, how he's always so focused on his mission, and how he hides his emotions, and the complexity of his character. Number 2 was Spike Smeagol. Spike is the epitome of cool. There's no question about it. Spike is probably the coolest anime character of all time. At least how I feel. Spike is definitely up there. So smooth. He's just, like I said, the epitome of cool. And at number 1, and if you know me, you know who number 1 is. The future king of the pirates himself, Monkey D. Luffy. Like I said, there's something about me that resonates with Luffy. It does. Like I love watching Luffy. I just love watching Luffy just be either ridiculously funny or being so serious, because he just, when he's in that battle mode, he's very gritty and he just comes at you at 120 miles per hour, and I love it. That's the one thing I love about that character, his determination and how he never lets nobody get him down. So those are my top 3 characters of all time. And this week we talk about 2 characters that are definitely honorable mentions, and if one character also in this episode would be in my top 5. So this week we talk about Gon and Killua, probably the most adorable. I shouldn't say adorable. That sounds kind of weak. Probably the most adored duo of all time, and probably the most famous duo of all time. And here, for me, with me in this episode, is, like I said, a very special guest. A person that I know, like I said, for years. Actually, a person I know that I know all my life. A person that has the same blood as me. And she's very special to me. So here to talk about Gon Killua with me is my baby sister, Daisy Lydia Medina, also known as D Money Coins.
Yeah, I was gonna say government unnecessary.
I had to do it.
Full government unnecessary.
It's
okay.
totally necessary.
No.
It's totally necessary.
No.
But yeah, Daisy's like I said, the baby sister, and we have really good conversations about anime. We really do, and I love her input on certain animes. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as I'm going to enjoy doing this with my little sister. let's get started. D, let's jump into the Chop Talk segment. Basically, what I'm gonna do here is allow my sister Daisy to let the audience get to know her a little bit. Basically, ask her a couple questions so you people can know, probably can relate to her as well on how she got into anime, and the things that she likes about anime the most, like memories, scenes, and stuff like that. So, D, real quick, first question that I want to ask you is, what got you into anime?
Well, anime runs in the blood. You know that.
Yes, we have our bunch of our cousins who are maybe 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all started watching anime back in the late 80s, early 90s, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And then, watching you guys watch things, that was probably like my first exposure. But then I remember specifically being like 13 years old and kind of being tired of like Disney Channel crap. And then I remember waking up one morning and being like, I want to watch Saturday morning cartoons because I hadn't done it in a long time. Right. And, I was flipping through and it was
when 4Kids was
4Kids, yeah. It was like it had just switched over from Fox Box to 4Kids.
Okay.
And then they had like Mew Mew Powers, which is like a bootleg Sailor Moon, basically. They had like Kirby, Sonic, Shaman King.
Which they did a remake on Netflix.
I know.
I know. Check it out.
I know. I don't know. We'll see. But I was like, okay. And then from then on, like it stuck. Like it was probably that became my identity for like maybe 4 years after that.
4 years after watching it. So what was on that block? Was it One Piece on that block?
Yes, actually, yes. One Piece did premiere. That was when One Piece premiered in the States. It premiered on 4Kids. And that's when it was like that shitty dub. And I remember Sanji, instead of having the cigarette, he had he had a lollipop.
Oh.
Like they had to edit it.
Yeah.
And it was a lollipop.
They made it more child friendly.
Yes. Yes. There were a few edits that like when I watched it again, I was like, wait a minute. That wasn't like that.
Right.
But yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never see that's the funny thing. I remember when you and our other brother Eric started watching One Piece on 4Kids. I wasn't watching it at the time because I was like everybody else. It looks stupid. That's my I was. And then years later, here I am now.
One of those.
Yeah, I was one of those. But to see how One Piece got from there to it is now, it's definitely awesome to see.
Yeah, I remember the original dub. Sanji had like this weird like old time New Jersey accent.
Right.
And it was so weird. It was just like the weirdest thing. I'm glad they scrapped
changed
that dub.
it.
Yeah, I'm glad that they scrapped that dub. It's like, ugh.
So bad. Yeah, he was like from like, what was he called? Because I remember the Mr. Prince episode, when he was an Alabasta or Crocodile.
Yep.
And it just sounded like it was like your uncle from New Jersey or something like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, definitely it came a long way from there. So another question I want to ask you is, do you have, or what is your favorite moment or scene from anime? Because like I said, my favorite moment is the whole Nami, Luffy help me scene back in her hometown when Arlong had just taken everything from her and she just felt so hopeless. She didn't know where to go. But that was an iconic scene. It definitely got me into One Piece, but it's definitely my favorite scene of all the anime. Do you have a scene that you cherish, or do you like just have so much, memory from?
Yeah. So I would say my favorite moment in anime history would be during the tuning exams with Rock Lee and Gaara when they had to fight. And there was that moment when Rock Lee realized that he was outmatched by Gaara. So he realized he had to kick it up a notch. So he takes off the ankle weights, and he drops them down, and it's like this huge like cloud of dust that comes up and it just like consumes everyone. And that to me is like one of the most memorable moments, because I was like, wow, this guy who has like no special abilities, who's just like a very normal like human being, could just push himself to those limits, that's and that's based on reality. Because if you really did work out with that type of conditioning, you know what I'm saying, and like weights and that type of stuff, like you could accomplish like some great things, and it goes to show you know. And I think that's my favorite part about that just the fact that they took that normal like a natural human, not one that had any special abilities or he just a natural human.
His skill set was limited because he only knew taijutsu. So for him to expand that and to be more of a master at the only thing he could do, and like I said, to expand that and to be better and to like you said, to push through your limits, that's the epitome of what Rock Lee is about.
Yeah, I like that.
And that scene is iconic because I remember everybody's looking like he was standing on top of, it was like a Buddhist statue or something like that.
Yeah.
He was staying on there, and then guys like, okay, Lee, take him off. And then Lee looked at Guy and was like, okay. He's like, you sure? He's like, yeah, go ahead, take him off. And so I remember Tamara was like, oh, you think you're going to be faster? Just moving a couple of weights. And like you said, when he dropped those weights and all that dust, the cloud of dust came up, everyone was like, yo, this dude is fast with those weights. Now, without the weights, it's going to be crazy, bro.
Right.
So that's definitely one of my favorite scenes too.
Yeah.
I got to admit, that's a good scene. That's very iconic.
It was like a mic drop,
Yeah.
Ankle weights.
Yeah, mic drop ankle weights.
Yeah.
That was the clutch. And like I said, if you listen to our first episode of the Anime Break Room, we talk about the Chunin exams, and rewatching it, I just have so much respect for Rock Lee. I really do. I just newfound respect for Rock Lee. So, and that's one of the reasons, his perseverance, would you say, right? Perseverance is determination just to be strong,
Yeah.
But that is a good scene. Very epic. Very epic. And then the last question is basically what we talked about last week. Me and Dabir talked about your top 3 anime characters of all time. The people you consider GOATs of anime. For you in particular.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'll start at number 3. Number 3 is one of my favorites from, my days watching it on 4Kids TV. And I would have to say it's Zoro. Okay, Roanoa.
Zoro number 3?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Zoro's number 3. But look, top 3. I mean, come on. Jeez, like don't diminish him.
No, I'm not. I just thought he would be 1 or 2. But go
3
ahead.
swords. Number 3.
Yeah. I get it.
Okay,
I get it.
come on.
But Zoro,
he's a wing.
You got it. He is a wing. Yeah,
he's a wing.
That's the dopest name.
I know.
The wings,
I know.
It's
a great moniker. It's a great moniker.
But you got to see Zoro now. He's killing it. He's at a different level.
Now, I will say this. He for a long time was at the number 1 spot. And I still think he's great.
Right.
I still think he's great. But there are others.
Yes.
And at number 2, I have to agree with Dabir and say my man Dazai-san.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, you want to talk about cool? I love a cool character, and not just somebody that can do cool things, but somebody that has like swag.
Yeah.
Somebody that, when you watch them, they automatically,
catch your attention.
They capture all your attention because they just have this way about them, and it's like, I love those types of characters, and Dazai is that type for me. And you always wonder with Dazai, is there going to be a twist?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a turn, because you see something happening and you're just like, like, but you also know that Dazai's like, in the wings. So he's like, well, what's going to happen? And so that's one of my favorite things about Dazai. And then of course, my number 1 absolute favorite anime character.
The goat of goat. The goat of goats for you.
Listen, of all time, would have to be Spike Spiegel.
Ooh.
Of all time. Of
The epitome of cool, people.
The epitome of cool. The epitome of cool. And listen, I respect your list. I respect your list.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Listen, if there's one thing in my sister could be very critical. That's what she could be.
No. I respect your list, but I'm just saying that Spike can't be number 2 to me. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like if Spike was alive in this world, he would be king of the pirates.
Oh, let's
not
get carried away.
Let's be real right now. Let's be real.
Let's not get carried away.
But anyways, right. No. But let's
No,
Spike,
I respect it.
Spike is, that anime character. I mean, he was so, he just
genuine.
Brought this.
Would you say genuine?
He was very genuine, but he was also very organic.
Yes.
He wasn't like this, like, I have to complete this mission. It was like, no, he had very real life crap happening to him. Yeah. He had very real things that he dealt with every day.
Right.
And at some point, it just killed him.
Yeah.
But I think that's also my favorite thing because it was the most shocking thing when I was a kid to watch the main character die. Right. It was like, he died? Yeah. Wait a minute. It was almost like it wasn't right. At the very last moment.
It kind of caught you off guard.
Yeah.
It kind of caught you off guard. I remember sitting there looking at him like, okay, there's got to be more to this. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you see, that's the end of the series. You're like, whoa.
And you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's haunting. It's very haunting.
Yeah. But I guess they said, the best things are always things that leave you to want more, and I think Bebop did a great job with people wanting more, So Spike's one of the best. He really is. Like I said, he will always go down as probably the most coolest character in anime history.
Absolutely.
He probably would be.
Absolutely.
Interesting list though, interesting list. I definitely respect it. Obviously, you threw shade on my list a little bit, but it's okay. It's okay. No,
I don't know nothing about.
No, but with that being said, I think we're gonna jump into our lunch break topic because speaking of favorite characters, would you say honorable mention? Maybe a top 5 character that you really enjoy.
Sure.
Would be one of the characters we are talking about in today's topic.
Mm-hmm.
That is Gon and Killua from Hunter x Hunter. And Killua is probably, would you say, in your top 5 at least? Maybe honorable mention, top 10?
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. I could say definitely top 10, maybe top 5, you know?
Yeah.
But definitely top 10.
Okay. Well, that's this week's topic. Probably the most popular duo in anime history. Wouldn't you say? Maybe one of the most popular. Definitely top 3 as far as duo. Yeah. Definitely top 3.
Especially recently, it's really gotten a lot of attention.
Oh
it's gotten very mainstream.
Yeah. With that, and I think a lot of people can relate to them because of their age. You know what I'm saying?
It makes it easy to watch.
Yes. Yeah,
it's an easy watch.
Yeah. I think
it's not too heavy.
No. I mean, well, it does have some dark moments.
Yeah, but when you do it through the perspective of a child.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It just kind of it makes it a little bit lighter because like we know what we're looking at,
right.
But from a kid's perspective.
Okay.
It's coming across a little bit differently.
That makes sense. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
No, but and then the way they see it, it's like they're adapting. And it's like, I guess for Killua especially, it's normal, but the way the Gon sees it is probably a little different, like, I don't know. I mean, because Gon is more of a child, more of a childlike than Killua, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
He has more of a naivety.
Yes. And the reason, like I said, for me, Gon is an honorable mention. And I think I would have Gon in my top 5. If I was to have a top 5, maybe I think Gon would be number 4 for me in my favorite characters of all time. Okay. The reason why I say that, the reason why I drawn so much to Gon, because I think a lot of people like Killua because he's another cool character. He has this somewhat emotionless but yet childlike mentality, but he has a cool demeanor about him. Gon is more of an innocent, carefree, more of a 12-year-old boy than Killua would be. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I draw to Gon so much is because of his
Because you're basically like a 12-year-old boy.
Yes, I would say so. I still have a child in me, man. I don't care what anybody says.
Listen, you got to. You gotta have that child in you.
I think that's why I drawn to Gon so much, because of his innocence. His just the way how he looks at things, and like he's just like you said, he's a little naive to the world. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been stuck on the island, Wales Island.
Yeah.
He's been stuck on that island for most of his life, all his life, I should say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No father,
Right.
And and with Mito-san always, just raising him and to make sure he's always taken care of.
Yeah.
So he's kind of naive to the world, but it kind of draws an innocence, and that's why I kind of adapt to him. Like I draw to him a lot more. Also, another reason that I draw to him, and for me personally, I feel like Gon has some personalities, some characteristics like Luffy. Very simple-minded. And his fighting style is very the same. Very straightforward. Coming at you 120 miles per hour.
Shit.
Just nonstop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's another reason why I'm a huge Gon fan. And another thing that I like about Gon, the way he has so much pride in what he does. I think, and you see it in some of these episodes. Actually, all the episodes, I should say. He does not want anything given to him. He's taken this mission to go find his father. His father's basically like, listen, if you want to come find me, you got to come find me. You got to do it on your own, And he wants nothing given to him. Like, for instance, in the Hunter's exam with Hisoka, when he got Hisoka's badge, I think it was the second part of the Hunter's exam, where he was able to sneak, to sneak by, to get his badge, and thought he had a clear shot to run away. And when Hisoka found him, he worked him, obviously, because Hisoka's, naturally stronger than him. But when Hisoka saw this fighting spirit, when Hisoka saw an opponent worthy of maybe, how can I say?
Fighting one day.
Yeah.
Killing one day.
Yes. Hisoka loves fighting to the death.
Yeah.
So when he saw that in Gon, he allowed Gon to have his badge and walked away, because Hisoka knew he was going to pass the second stage of the test, with ease. So he gave Gon the badge. You go, keep it. I want you to get stronger, kind of thing, so we can fight down the road. But Gon took that as a slap in the face. Like, bro, I don't want nothing given to me, And then there's the one part where he's just sitting in the forest and he's just, just contemplating what just happened, or, kind of just thinking back and, listen, man, I had this dude really mock me, basically, just handing me something, and that's not how I want to do this. And so seeing that, like, that's how I really drawn to Gon, how I really resonated with Gon a lot, was with that. And another thing too, at the last part of the Hunter exam, where he was in the final tournament, you can say, and then he was fighting that one hunter. Was he like a shinobi? He was like a bald guy.
Yeah.
He was like a ninja.
Yeah.
And he was fighting Gon, like I said. And the reason why I like this anime as well is because it shows the vulnerability of these kids. You know what I'm saying? They're not. There's potential, but they're not there yet.
Right.
And that's why I like it.
Right.
So, this one...
There is a certain realism to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Despite the fantastical aspects of it.
Right. So, in that scene, in that fighting scene where Gon was taking on this hunter, and he's just absolutely working Gon, like he's destroying Gon, but Gon just won't give up. He won't submit. He won't admit defeat. And he's coming at him. And then eventually the guy's like, okay, I give up. Like, Gon could win. But again, Gon, that's not how he wants to do things.
Right.
And when he woke up from, because I guess the guy had knocked him out, knocked him unconscious. When he woke up, they said, listen, you passed the hunter exam. You're officially a pro hunter. And Gon, because he was going to deny it.
Yeah.
But they said, listen, you can't deny this.
Yeah.
You've got it. And whether you like it or not, you've earned it.
That's also the naivety.
Yes.
That's the naivety. Thinking that it has to come out one way and not realizing that there are many ways for something to come to place,
Absolutely. And I, like I said, I mean, but it with the aspect, I do respect Gon because he wants to earn things his own way. But like you said, it's him being naive, to certain things, and sometimes you've earned earn things differently than what you think you should earn them, But
because like you were saying, the hunter exam, it wasn't necessarily about winning,
right?
It was, they were looking for certain qualities and certain traits in people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a different exam. Like it wasn't that type where you got to be the best. Like you said, there were certain things that they were looking for as far as characteristics.
And I
stuff.
feel like that's kind of an ongoing, but that's like an ongoing thing, because that was even the same in the tuning exams. You know what I'm saying? Like,
especially for the last part.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But okay. I think for the written, the first,
there was the written, but there was also that part, and then there was also with Deku.
Deku.
Yeah, in My Hero Academia, when he had to do the entrance exams for U8, it was the same thing. Like that's kind of like the ongoing thing, where there's that test, but they're not really testing the winner. It's like they're looking for the quality, they're looking for the trait,
Yes.
And that's I like that. I like that aspect of it. It gives a little more substance.
But it is a unique aspect to bring into a show, which, like I said, it definitely this show definitely gives me. It's definitely different. Like when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, this show is just it's different than all the other animes.
Honestly, no, I think this is one of the most creative animes I think that I've ever seen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that being said, Killua. I know Killua is like your one of your definitely your favorite characters.
Yes.
In this anime.
I do like Kill.
He's someone I have definitely respect for, and he shows a lot of development in this.
Yes.
What are some of the things that drew you into Killua?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say naturally, right? When you first start watching the show and, you see Killua come out and it's all cute, with Gon and everything. And then all of a sudden you see Killua. And, he's just walking through the forest, just doing this little exam. And, you know what I'm saying? He's skateboarding with Gon and, just doing it. And then all of a sudden he just kills somebody.
Yeah.
Like in a flash, like it's nothing, and he has this, this step that he does that, he's like, you're seeing all these, and it's just like, wow, it's flashy. It's flashy. It grabs your attention. So of course that was the first thing that grabbed my attention naturally was the flashiness.
Would you say like his aggressiveness too at times?
Yeah, just how prepared he was.
Yeah.
I mean, to him, the hunter exam was just a fun activity.
Right.
Everybody is struggling, and he's just skipping through and breezing through like it isn't a thing.
I love how they first met. Like you said, with
skateboarding,
the skateboarding.
Yes.
And Leorio was just like yelling at Killua.
Leorio, Kurapika. Oh, I forgot about it's funny. You think about going to Killua and then you forget about Leorio and Kurapika.
Right.
Yeah,
No, they were good characters.
They were good. No, they're good characters. Yeah, they're good characters.
But I like how they first met, because Leorio was just yelling at Killua like, dude, you're cheating. Like, you were supposed to be following this guy on our feet and you're skateboarding. And then Killua was like, whatever, dude. And then Gon's like, no, that's not, they never say anything about running, you know? And so when Killua looked back at
he sees
Gon,
the goes walking, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to walk too.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, how old are you? Like, oh, I'm 12. Oh, okay, where? So I guess I'll run too. So I like that part.
Yeah.
That was nice.
And I think it's kind of interesting, and I don't know if it was just something that evolved as it was being written, but it definitely started off with a trio, and then it just evolved into a duo.
Yeah.
And not even with any of the same characters. And those characters come back, like Leorio and Kurapika, they do come back, and they have their own storylines and everything like that, and it's cool. But it's so weird to see how it started off that way, and you're thinking, okay, these are going to be the main guys.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's Gon and Killua, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I it's funny that you mentioned that, because now I think about it, you're right.
Yeah.
Because you see, like, actually it was like the four of them.
Yes.
It was the four of them, and then somewhere down the line it was just like, okay, it's just the two of them.
Yeah.
And like I said, that I think it just made this anime a lot more different and unique in certain ways.
Yeah.
But Go ahead. I mean, what are some other things that got you into Killua?
So, I mean, of course, like I said, first the flashiness, of course, that's what drew me in at first. But then, then you start to see, I believe it was the second arc when they start talking about his family,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they go into to all that stuff. Or no, it was actually, yeah.
It was after the hunters exam.
It was after the hunter's exam. And then, Gon goes over there to see, his family, he goes over there to find them and stuff, and then it's like you see this relationship and this bond form between the two. And then you see these little bits with Killua and how he tried to make friends with that little maid girl and like, whatever, and how it just never worked out for him and just like what he was looking for. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Then that's interesting because I think we talked about it yesterday. For Killua, he has this ability to be an elite assassin. He does. Mm-hmm. His mother wants nothing more from him than to be an assassin, and she is doing everything in her power to have him on that straight path of just, listen, this is what you're going to be. This is who you are. Mm-hmm. But for Killua himself, as a 12-year-old boy, he just wants to live. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He just wants to be a kid.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to enjoy, playing video games, going outside, playing with friends. And like you said, when he went up to the little maid girl and was like, listen, basically saying, let's be friends. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She wanted to. Mm-hmm. That was her initial intention, was that she wanted to. But she knew she had a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when that happened, he was like, kind of shrugged it off or whatever, mm-hmm. And then he met Gon. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, the relationship between them happened. And there's a lot because, like, we eventually found out that Killua's brother was in the hunter's exam. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He had that weird buttons, like the pins or whatever. Oh my God, it was so weird.
Yeah. So when they...
So weird.
It was very weird. So when they, because they eventually
I love him with Hisoka, though.
Oh, Hisoka? Yeah.
I love them together.
They have a good relationship.
They're so cool.
They have a good...
dynamic.
Good dynamic.
They're so cool.
But with... I was going to say, because with Killua and his brother, Liam, I think his name was... I can't remember his name. But I guess he was doing his best to protect them, as far as if you face an enemy stronger than you, he put him in that trance where you're running automatically, because you need to be ready for when you to become this assassin that everybody wants you to become. Right. But Killua just wanted to live his life. He just wanted to be a kid. He just wanted, and that's why, him with Gon, it showed the development. You know what I'm saying? It showed that it's okay to be a kid. Like, you could be strong. Mm-hmm. You could be strong, but it's okay to live your life as a kid, Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it's unique because, Gon has that strength, but yet that, like I said earlier, that innocence, you know what I'm saying? Right. That carefree childlike mentality.
I mean, he had a carefree childhood.
Right.
Where he got to just, go fishing and run around the forest and, you know what I'm saying?
Play with animals.
Yeah, and he was a carefree kid, where Killua as a kid had to learn how to kill people and, learn to be an assassin. And that's not a carefree childhood.
No, it's not.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's, you have these high expectations, but you're just a kid. And that's, it's well beyond mentally what you're able to give.
Right. Right.
And I think that at some point Killua is just like, whoa, I just want to.
He's like, I'm 12 years old.
He wants to be free of that. And I think a good, a little bit of symbolism when he was in that, maybe he was never really oppressed by it to begin with. Because remember when he was, when Gon went to get him, right? And his brother was quote unquote torturing him. Okay.
Yeah.
And, and he's like, kind of letting his brother, do whatever. And then all of a sudden he just, comes out and he's just like, all right, now I'm done with this. Now I'm going to leave. And his brother's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And I feel like that was just so symbolic of his relationship with his whole family.
Right.
So he was never really, oppressed by all of those things. Sure, like, maybe they thought that, they had him, but it's like he was always just going to break free anyways.
Right.
So it's like they never really had him despite the scars and
Right.
despite, the look of it.
Right.
So I thought that was symbolic. I like that. I like that little piece.
I do like, and going back to what you said, because this shows, because we're going to go back a little bit, actually, because when they first met in the tunnel, when they're running and everything, this childhood reminds me of just a normal childhood somewhat. I'm sorry, not a childhood. I'm sorry, this friendship between Gon and Killua. Mm-hmm. It's a normal real life friendship that you have. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when they meet in the tunnel, like you that's how you kind of like when they meet in the tunnel and they just kind of looked at each other, and Killua went up to Gon and said, "How old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 12 years old." And then when you meet somebody who's around your age, mm-hmm. you tend to be like, "Okay,
yeah,
let me see."
There's something that automatically resonates,
right? So, he's 12 years old and he's on his feet running. Okay, so I'm gonna run with them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they had that introduction with each other, and then you can kind of see as they're going on through the exam, Killua starts to get attached to Gon. Mm-hmm. He's always asking for Gon. Where's Gon? What's Gon doing? Why is Gon not here? I remember in the one part in the Hunter's exam where, like I said, it's a normal childhood friendship. Where remember they got that penalty, the time limit penalty.
Yes.
That was the first thing Gon Killua did in that time limit penalty. They say, "Yo, let's watch TV, see if there's any cartoons on."
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they're normal 12-year-old
Were they
boys.
in there with Leodio?
Yeah, with Leodio
going crazy.
Yeah. He was driving Leodio nuts. They were driving Leodio because they would do pillow fights. They would try to play video games or try to watch TV, and they would be they would be normal boys.
Yeah,
normal boys, and they were just like, it's just like. That's just okay.
Oh, but almost unable to feel the weight of the situation.
Right.
Like boys, kids
just being naive to the situation.
Yeah. It's like you're not going to feel the pressure when you're a child. You don't feel the pressure of certain situations.
And that's what it was.
You know? Yeah. And Leodio, who's like almost 20, or was he 20?
He was
that.
like 18. He was like 18.
So he's just like, oh crap. Like this is all, and he's just like... and
like there's a time limit, we got to do this,
and they're just like, oh, a TV, yay,
Yeah, I found that pretty interesting. Yeah. Like I was like you, like I can imagine myself with like some of my friends, like, oh yeah, hey, let's do this. As 12 years old, oh, yo man, I got this new Madden game, let's go play it or whatever. What I'm saying? Like just being not even like doesn't matter about responsibilities or whatever.
Carefree,
very carefree. Mm-hmm. And then we get to the last part of the exam. Where, like I said, so there's the introduction, then there's the friendship, because this friendship, this relationship goes through a lot of development in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And so you have this dude's fun to hang out with, like I like hanging out with him, and then you have when you go through with certain friends or close relatives or whatever. Let's just put it at friends. We go with this with close friends, right? Where you see where certain friends can do for you in certain situations. Like you brought up, with his brother and how Killua, basically disqualified himself from the Hunter's exam, went back home, and Gon was upset because he was like, yo, what happened to Killua? And he confronted his brother, and you see that this is the many faces of Gon, because I believe Gon has different personalities. Mm-hmm. Now, I shouldn't say personalities, but he just...
Different sides to him.
Yes, exactly. And you can see just how upset he was. And when he grabbed Killua's brother's hand, he'd be like, yo, listen, you got to tell me where Killua's at. Mm-hmm. And his brother kind of was like, yo...
Yeah.
This dude at his age is kind of strong. Mm-hmm. He goes, okay, I'm gonna tell him, but he's not gonna get to Killua, right. So he told him, but you see the lengths that Gon was going for Killua, and it's almost like a brotherhood.
Yeah,
when you see a friend go through the lengths that they go through when you in certain situations, like, man, you know, like I went through a bad breakup or a loss of a family member, or I'm going through a rough time financially. Certain friends that you have give you that, listen, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for you. If you need something, you know, and that's where I think that part with Gon Killua that really made this more of a brotherhood was when Killua went into an assassin household to basically rescue his best friend.
Gon, yeah.
You know, oh, I'm sorry, Gon. Yeah, Gon. Yeah, to basically rescue his best friend.
Yeah.
And I like I said, that's where the start of the whole brotherhood, where the whole, look, this is my boy.
Yeah, and I also think at that point, Gon realized that he wasn't going to go very far without Killua.
Yeah.
And not in a way that he couldn't. But, you know, the bond was strong, and you have to know that, you know, if you're going to go on a huge journey, that you have to have support.
Right.
And I think that he knew that Killua was going to be that support for him.
Right.
So he was like, no, I can't continue unless I have him with me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that, you know, that's also very telling to Gon's personality as well. You know what I'm saying? That everybody needs a body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't
Right.
just, you know, like even like the King of the Pirates got wings. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I mean, come on. You don't.
I like that. That was good. Yeah.
You know, like
absolutely,
you don't really
absolutely.
do these things on your own.
your own,
And so I think that, you know, that was an insightful moment from Gon. That
Right.
was a moment of maturity that he
Right.
was like, you know, because you almost want to say like, oh, there's naive Gon, you know, rushing into an assassin's household, right? Because maybe, you know, if he was older, or maybe if he was, you know, a different type of way, maybe had more life experience, maybe, you know, more like Killua, he would have thought, oh, you know, I can't do that. You know, I can't go get them. But, you know, Gon having, you know, the insightfulness that he did have, but also the naivety that he had. Like, it was like the perfect combination to be like, I'm going to do this and I don't care.
I'm pretty
you know?
sure knowing Gon, he didn't capture the whole idea of I'm going to an assassin's household.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was just
he was
like,
just thinking, I need Killua.
I need Killua.
Yeah.
Killua. But then, like I said, I mean, maybe if he was, you know, maybe if he wasn't so naive, I don't want to say if he was smarter, because that sounds
Yeah,
but
I mean,
if
he's
he
a
was
kid. He's a kid,
yeah,
you
maybe
know?
if he wasn't so naive, maybe he would have a different mentality on it.
Mm-hmm.
But with with Gon, that, you know, this boy, like I said, who's very naive, very innocent, his mind, he's thinking, I have to get my friend. You know, I have to get my friend. I want my friend with me as I'm going through this adventure. You know,
Right.
And like I said, that was a huge moment.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think he also knew Killua enough to know that Killua wanted to also
Yes.
be on that adventure.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think he threw hints throughout the Hunter's exam that he was just like, yeah, I don't want to be anything like my family. I think he threw hints.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Gon took it like, okay.
He definitely mentioned, because they did mention his family at some
Right,
point during
right.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody mentioned like, oh, he's a Zoldyck, you know,
Yeah.
like they mentioned it.
Right.
And and that was a huge deal, obviously,
Yeah.
because they had their eyes on him. They
Right.
knew, you know.
Yes. And like I said, that's how Gon, you know, perceives it. Like, you know, seeing Gon go that extra step for Killua. Now for Killua to go the extra step for Gon, you know, after the Heavenly Arena, you know, after the Heavenly Arena, I think they go back to Whales Island. You know.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. After the Heavenly Arena and after York New City, where they
York New City.
It's funny. You know what? It's funny.
Right? Isn't that funny when you hear
funny.
that? You're just like, York New City.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's very
York
funny.
New. I love that.
Yeah. So after that, you know, they go back to Gon's hometown, and Gon takes Killua with him, you know, to meet Mito-san and all that.
They had such a good time.
They had
It was very relaxed. I was relaxed watching them.
Yes. So they go through all that, and like I said, before I get to this, the trope arc is still probably my favorite arc.
Yes.
The trope arc is probably one of my favorite arcs.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I could see it.
The build was great.
Yeah.
But as far as I want to say, because like I said, Gon showed his friendship and, you know, how far he'll stretch for Killua by going into his this assassin house home and bring Killua back. So what Killua is gonna do for Gon is, listen, you want to find your father? Gon, I got you. Like, I'm here for you for this journey.
Right.
You know, like, I'm gonna help you find your dad. You know, and that's where the bond even thickens more. You know, when they get to Greed Island. Oh yeah, when they get to Greed Island, and the whole dodgeball event.
Yeah,
with Razor.
Yes.
And then Gon is using Ja Junkin. That's how they, because you watch it dubbed.
Yes.
You know, did they call it? Did they call that in dubbed?
They call it like rock papers.
Okay.
It was like they actually translated it. Yeah.
They call it Ja Junkin.
Yeah, because it was like something about rock paper scissors, something like that.
Yeah. So he's using that technique, but to hit Razor, I think, Killua had to hold the ball.
Yeah.
You know? And Gon had already done it probably 2 or 3 times. And Killua's hands were tore up.
Yeah.
Because of the enormous power that Gon had in his Ja Junkin.
Burning his skin.
Right.
Yeah.
So when one of the guys like, listen, Gon, we're going to do this again one more time, but somebody else has to hold the ball. And Gon's like, no, I'm not doing it unless Killua's holding it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Killua's that dude. Like, I trust Killua more than anybody in this world.
Yeah.
And Killua, and then this is how you know too, because Killua is, like you said, he's an assassin, but the development comes in where now emotion's getting involved. You know what I'm saying? Now it's because Gon is someone who wears his heart on his sleeve, who shows his emotion. You know what I'm saying? Killua's not like that.
Right.
He wasn't
brought up to be.
He wasn't brought up to be like that. So when he's with this kid, when he's with Gon, I should say, when he's with Gon, and I'm pretty sure he feels some type of, this is my boy. Like, I gotta help him no matter what. So he looks like Gon's like, Gon, I got you. You know what I'm saying? He grabs the ball and Gon delivers the Ja Junkin and finally takes out Razor and stuff. But like I said, it just shows how thick the bond is between them. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's so relatable. It's very relatable because, like I said, you go through things, or you had that one person that you trust the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you just like, that that if you're in a pinch, if you need something, this guy always has my back. Yeah. Not just physically, but emotionally too. And mentally, and mentally.
I think that they also relate to each other in very different ways. It's like they both are like children of like famous fathers, right? And they both kind of have this like loneliness to them, in different ways, obviously, because Killua was surrounded by family,
right.
But they're not
a close, tight unit.
Yeah, they're not connected.
Right.
They're not like loving.
Right.
And then Gon has, he has this one, but he like yearns to know who his father is, and I think there is that connection in having those like famous families and having like a certain expectation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, but they both very much want to do their own thing.
Right.
And I think that also is a relating, like something that kind of relates them to each other.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because like you said, Gon's dad is this famous hunter, and Killua has this famous, his whole family.
Yeah, his whole family. His grandpa.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
Yo, Gramps. Come on, Gramps.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yo.
Zenu, I think, I can't remember. Something like that. I can't remember his name. But he's a beast. But
and he's cool because he kind of let Killua do his thing.
Yeah.
He's just like, no, let the boy live.
Yeah.
He's like, he's fine.
Yeah.
And I think he knows too, though. But part of me wonders what is there something gonna come? Is something gonna come from that? Like, is he just kind of letting Killua do his thing because he sees who Killua is doing his thing with?
Right.
Like, does he know Gene? Like, is there something that's gonna come from all of that?
Yes.
Because he let it go really easy.
His grandfather?
His
grandfather, yeah.
And mom is freaking out.
Yes.
And dad is like on the fence.
Yeah.
But grandpa's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just let him.
I just think that's a normal grandpa, like grandparents.
I don't know. I wonder. But see, it makes me wonder: is there something behind it?
Right.
Because it could be it could be something malicious, or it could be something innocent.
Right.
You know, it could just be that he's like, you know, I watched what I did to your father and what I did to your mother or whoever. I don't know whose parent he is. He's the mother's.
I think he's the
mom's,
mother.
right?
He's the mom's dad.
So he's like, you know, I saw what I did to your mother and I didn't want that to happen to you. Or, you know, or maybe he's like, oh, I saw that you were with Jean's boy and I knew you were going to be the greatest ever. You know, who knows? Like
that's an interesting concept. I never thought about it like that. You know, like to see if there's going to be an outcome or if it's going to make Killua stronger out of all this, you know. That is an interesting concept. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
That's unique. That's unique in a way.
Yeah, like how is that? What's going to come from all that? You know, because I mean, obviously, right now, Killua's family, they're not antagonists or anything like that.
I would say they're neutral. They're like
they're
neutral
neutral,
party.
but
They're neutral.
that could change at any time, or they could become allies. You know, who knows? So I'm just kind of interested. I'm interested to see, like, you know, what's going to happen there.
It's funny that you bring it up because obviously everybody knows that the anime is not done. You know, it kind of took a hiatus.
The manga has been releasing a few chapters here and there.
Yeah, and that's something that I want to read because I haven't watched all the anime just yet. I think I'm like maybe 10 episodes away from the end, you know.
Oh, okay.
I'm at where the Zodiacs are all meeting up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Got it.
So I finished the Ant arc, which was amazing. It was amazing.
Whew.
It was great.
That's my favorite.
But it's funny that you brought that up because, and I think I'm going to finish up with this. When you said when his grandfather, you know, one of the scenarios is what's the outcome going to be? You know what I'm saying? It's just going to make Killua stronger. It's just going to further his process in becoming the great assassin that we want him to become. What if at the end of all this, or one of the final arcs, is when, because we know, like I said, Gon, there's the many faces of Gon, the many sides of Gon. And Gon does not deal with the fear of loss very well. You know what I'm saying? He does have emotions. He does wear his heart on his sleeve. He does, you know. And sometimes those emotions take over. And as much as Killua loves Gon and he's going to do anything for Gon, it could be overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? To always be that, okay, listen, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. But at the same time, it could be overwhelming where it's like, dude, now you're starting to become too much. You know what I'm saying? So what if Killua and Gon has this big dispute, you know, like, because like, for instance, when he brought up Kite and Pitu was kind of like giving herself up, like, listen, I want to heal this girl. I mean no harm, you know, and Gon just don't care. Gon wants to, Gon wants blood. Yeah. Gon wants blood for what Pitu did to Kite.
To Kite,
and Killua's looking at this like, listen, bro, you need to like relax. And when Gon turns to Killua, I never seen Gon yell at Killua, but when he was like, listen, how can you say that when she took Kite?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How can you say that when you saw her, she killed Kite, you know what I'm saying, in cold blood, you know what I'm saying? And so what if there's a big dispute between them and it gets so big where there's no how can I say,
there's no way to resolve it.
Yeah.
No resolution.
You know what I'm saying? So there's no compromise. So they both go their own ways. And now Killua becomes this great assassin, like his family always wanted him to be, right?
Okay.
And his first job or his one job that he has to do is to take out Gon.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
How would it would be an interesting
And then
dynamic.
what would he do? How would he react to that?
Yes.
It's like, wait, you know, my childhood best friend, the only friend that I ever had.
Right.
You know, that would be interesting. Because it's true. People evolve. People grow and they evolve. It would be, you know, realistic to think that they're not going to be, you know, close forever. You know, so, you know, and there are times when, you know, you have, like, I know I have childhood friends that there were maybe a year or two here and there that I didn't talk to them, or maybe a few years, you know, that I didn't talk to them.
You drift apart.
You know, you drifted apart, right? Like
or
in the teen years, you drifted apart, and then after a while, you come back together. So yeah, I could see that type of.
Yeah, and this would be like
Years later.
Where they're like 18, 20 years old.
Right. And they're self-made at that point.
Yes. Like Gon is probably one of the best hunters in the world.
Right. And they keep track of each other.
Yeah.
Ooh, they keep track of each other.
That would be interesting. I actually,
Killua opens a paper and he's like reading about Gon and he's like, huh. Here he goes again. It's just like, oh shoot, that's so cool.
I have to read the manga. I like I said, I'm gonna finish. Like I said, I'm at the part where all the Zodiacs are meeting. They're trying to find a new chairman. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of dialogue, so I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on. But there's a lot of dialogue.
The old chairman. Oh.
Yeah, he was a beast.
No,
I don't want to spoil.
Okay,
If you listen,
I'm just gonna say that he's great. That's all
I'm gonna say. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. All I'm gonna say. But yeah, I'm gonna finish it. That's definitely something I want to do. I love this anime. My sister here was one of the main. She was the main reason, I should say, that I got into the anime.
I said it for a long time.
Yeah, she did, and it was amazing.
It was this amazing. One, Full Metal.
Oh, Brotherhood, yeah.
And you still never. I was like, come on, dude. How could you not watch that?
I watched Brotherhood first, and then I watched Hunter x Hunter.
Yes, you did. You did.
But
and then as soon as you saw it, you were like, D. I'm like, I told you.
I know.
I told you.
This anime, it's unique.
It's unique.
It's different.
Yeah. That's what I love about it.
Right.
Is the creativity.
Yes.
It's not the same old.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Very creative.
It's not anything that I would have even half the time. Like I'm like, oh, they're probably gonna do something like this, and it's nothing like like the ant arc.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like who? That's nothing. Like I would have thought.
Yes. It was
nothing.
In Miram, right? That's his name. The king.
Oh, Miri! Oh my god!
I love his development.
I
think that's gonna be an episode, and if we do it, I would love for you to come back.
Okay.
I would love for you to come back on the break room.
All right. I mean, he was it for me. I'll tell you that right now. He was one of the greatest antagonists for me.
Yes. Okay.
For me, I think that and I like the way that they made him human because yes. It's cool when you have that really cold-blooded and whatever antagonist, but I love when they make them human, but not in a corny way.
Yeah.
It was so well done.
Right.
It was, but in it, you know what? It was well done, but it still gave him all the respect he deserved as a great antagonist. Right. And that's important.
Well, I want you to say it for that episode.
All right. All right.
But with that being said, D.
What's up?
I appreciate you doing this.
No problem.
Definitely means a lot to me. Like I said, my little sister is like my right hand man, dude. Like
right hand girl.
Well, you know what I mean. It is what it is. But yeah, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? We meet up and it's like we never, like because there'll be weeks, because we're busy. Everybody has lives and everything. But there'll be weeks that we don't see each other. But once we do, it's just like we pick up where we left off.
Recap.
Yeah. So
recap.
We're just doing it on a larger scale, and we hope you enjoyed. You got anything else you want to say, D? Before
how about what's up?
Okay, that's all she gonna say. So, with that being said, folks, break time is over. Oh, but before break time's over, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we also have our YouTube channel, Anime Break Room, and also you can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts, and iTunes. Also, please follow us. We appreciate
like and subscribe.
We appreciate any feedback because all we want to do is just get better, and we want you to enjoy all the content. So, with that being said, finally, break time is over, and hope to hear from you soon. Have a good day.